Elijah, when he met with Ahab, he says, gather all 450 prophets of Baal and all 400 prophets of Asherah and meet me at Mount Carmel. And Elijah says, how long are you people going to go back and forth between Baal and God? If it's God, follow God. If it's Baal, follow Baal. He says, we're going to settle this once and for all. We're going to set up 2 offerings, one to Baal, one to the God of Israel, and we're going to call on each god to bring down fire and burn these offerings. And whoever does it, he's the real God. You go first. So the prophets of Baal set up the offering and make the sacrifice, and all morning and into the afternoon, they are praying for Baal to send down fire and to burn the sacrifice. And by midday, it hasn't happened. And Elijah starts making fun of them and is like, maybe he's still sleeping. Maybe he's still trying to decide if he wants to do this. And so the prophets start working harder, and they start doing dances, and they start cutting themselves, mutilating themselves to try to get Baal to respond. And there's nothing. Then Elijah sets up his offering, and he makes a trench around it, and he fills the trench with water. And then he has them pour water over the wood for the fire twice to make sure it's soaking wet. And then he calls on God. He says, God, now it's time to show them who you are. And immediately fire comes down and consumes the offering, consumes the wood, and dries up all the water in the trench around it. And Elijah has all of the prophets rounded up and killed. And after all this time with no rain, Elijah says to Ahab, go get your chariots. It's going to rain, and you need to leave the mountain before it starts raining. So from the time that Solomon had turned aside from God and started worshiping these other gods to this time where there's this reckoning was about 70, 80 years. So roughly 2 entire generations. 2 generations of Israel's kings getting evil and more evil and more evil. 2 generations of chances to turn back, of warnings and signs from prophets, of judgments from God to try to get them to turn back. And then an additional 3.5 years for Ahab to get things right with God. God gave them all that time. God is long suffering, but don't be mistaken. When time is up, he is an all-consuming fire.